And I'm Tom Morrison, CEO of the Metal Treating Institute. This is actually probably one of my most exciting ventures that we've carried on because this is truly one of those elements that is carrying us into the future of connection between heat treaters, customers, clients, and suppliers. So I'm very excited to kind of walk through today. And I'm recording this so we can send it out to people that aren't here. I know a lot of people aren't here because they're a little fearful of AI. I mean, AI is just one of those things that people don't know what to think about it. So we're here to dispel the beliefs, and especially with Heather Falcone, who's the chair of the AI task force, and Tony, who is a supplier and is on the task force and been a part of this process. So I'm going to share my screen real quick so we can show you a few things. All right, so let's get into WallyBot. So WallyBot is a platform that it's really called BettyBot as the platform, but we named ours WallyBot after Wally Bamford, who unbelievably some people on this call know. In October of 2024, he gave a $1 million donation in Canadian dollars to our foundation. We were kind of wondering, well, how do we recognize him? Well, we did that by naming our virtual guide WallyBot, our AI guy, our friend, after him. So that was pretty cool stuff. So WallyBot was born last year. Let me get this. So the vision for WallyBot is real simple. We want it to be the central hub of technical information. When I saw this demonstrated to me, I'm like, man, this is the thing for us, because now it's just like ChatGPT, but it's a private, closed-in community, and you're going to see that in a few minutes. But I want it to be the central hub of technical information and industry content for the heat treat community, where everybody can come in, type in their questions, just like you would go to ChatGPT, and pretty much over time be able to find any answer that you need for anything. And a lot of people say, well, what's the activity with WallyBot as it speaks? So we launched it in May of 2023, in the last 2024. In the last year, you can see it's been a nice trajectory up. We host a WallyBot question of the week. But as I go out there and we analyze the questions that are being asked, it's not just a question of the week. People are actually trying to find answers to things, and there's some very good answers being given for the content that we haven't learned as of today. AI is very, very real time, very dynamic, and it only speaks from what it has learned. So this is what today is about in phase 3. So MTI has gone through WallyBot with 3 phases. Phase 1 was we started pushing in everything MTI from our website at heattreat.net and Furnaces North America. So, things about our meetings, things on our website. We have over 1,500 articles, white papers, and stuff that's been published since 2015. It's reading from that on everything from automation to CMMC compliance to just everything you can think of. And then phase 2 was putting in MTI technical content from our online academy. We wanted to start then going into the technical realm where people could, type in what causes distortion, how do you solve distortion, things like that. And then the phase 3 is where we are right now. And also inside that technical content in phase 2 is we put in about 70 plus Furnaces North America technical sessions that we had translated into scripts, and then we had it uploaded into WallyBot. So WallyBot's also benefiting from the knowledge from Furnaces North America, the last 2 trade shows. And then so phase 3 is what we call supplier technical content. And as I was thinking about where does the content reside that most members could get real benefit from, and I'm thinking, man, our 60 plus suppliers are dealing with our customers every single day, and they have white papers and website links and just all kinds of access to content and their area of expertise that give everyday solutions to problems that the heat treaters are having. And so that's what this is about. Is phase 3 is us getting our after today to try and work to get our suppliers content in the WallyBot so it can build a central source for the entire industry, specifically the Metal Treating Institute. So right now what I'd like to do is kind of turn it over to our chair, Heather, to really talk to suppliers through the mind of the heat treaters. What is the real value? Why would you want to connect with your content and put it into WallyBot for access to suppliers out there? So Heather, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you, Tom. One thing to mention straight from the beginning is I absolutely was opposed to the use of AI by the MTI. I was the loudest voice in the room that said we should absolutely not do this. This is a terrible idea. It's going to threaten our livelihoods and take over our jobs. And I, for one, do not embrace our robot overlords. So that's where I was when we first looked at BettyBot. And
Heather, real quick for a fun note, what did I do right after that?
I don't remember. Tell me, Tom.
I asked you to be chair of the committee.
Oh, that's right. I got sucked into another committee. You're right. I'm just sucker right here. No, it was a great opportunity, and Tom realized the vision, and to put the biggest doubter in the task group was a genius decision, and here we are. So through the understanding of how BettyBot, now WallyBot, works on the back end, I gained a better understanding of how it really could propel our industry forward and how getting the suppliers involved, because I'm a pretty big advocate for suppliers. You're the ones that make our heat treats actually run on the day to day. So the next key component was getting the suppliers engaged. So what's interesting about suppliers is you already have so much marketing budget invested. You've already spent these dollars to cultivate amazingness that you're putting out into the ether on the internet. So if you went right now, if I went on the internet and I tried to search heat exchanger, vacuum furnace, I'm going to get a million responses, none of which are tailored to me, and probably maybe only one or two that are actual suppliers from the MTI. I prefer to work with MTI suppliers. I don't like going to people that I don't know. People do business with people. So that's why I thought that WallyBot would be a great opportunity for us to solidify the offerings of the suppliers and make them available to the MTI members in a really concise format that they can learn from, engage with. That helps shorten your sales cycle, and it helps accelerate the learning and knowledge depth of the industry as a whole. And the more we learn together, the better that we are. So this will be exclusive to the MTI members. It is going to be behind the paywall per se. So your information is not going to be just out there for everyone to see, just for MTI members. And we're doing that through a closed learning model, which means that we are not allowing our WallyBot to learn from anything in the world. He is only allowed to learn from what we tell him to learn. And that prevents any bad information from getting in, that prevents information that might lead to a competitor that has not participated in the MTI. So it really creates an ideal place for your content to be safely housed and used to everyone's benefit. So one of the biggest issues that we're finding when the task group is reviewing the data from the WallyBot users is questions about technical issues. I mean, how do I find a water leak? How do I helium leak test this furnace? Where can I go buy burner tubes? So we're trying to paint the picture that we could have answers right back to that person who at that very minute is ready to buy, ready to learn, ready to engage. And if they aren't having to go right back to their desk and search through the internet for 20 minutes, 30, 45 hours, days, now you've lost that momentum. So we're trying to get it to them quickly and accurately and for free to the members. It's completely self-service, so we don't have to worry about getting a company involved. We are in control of our own content and our own rules for BettyBot, or I'm sorry, WallyBot. So we don't have to send a bunch of things to BettyBot to administrate for us. We're in charge. And each supplier having to make less connections is going to be more efficient use of the marketing dollars that you've already invested in making these materials. We would be referencing the company as a resource, so that automatically elevates your standing with the MTI members that are accessing the data, and it highlights you as someone who's already a huge part of the MTI, whether you're a diamond or whatever tier you are. We want to make sure that you actually get that brand recognition. And also, you're going to be early adopters. That's really special. We have a lot of opportunity to do really cool things, extra shout outs on social media, blasting out through email to our network. There's a lot of ways that we can really engage to make this worth the supplier's time and efforts.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. So Tony, as somebody that's been sat apart as the AI task force as a committee member, what's some of your thoughts as you think about this from the supplier lens?
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for suppliers to be able to get their information onto WallyBot. It's a great way for the people, the heat treaters that are MTI members, that if they're looking for some information, if they're trying to find something like, say, specifically for what we do, if they're looking for a better alloy or better material, it'd be a resource for them to be able to search that and then they may be able to find the answer they're looking for on WallyBot. But not only that, then they could connect to a link which would lead them right to a contact source for them to talk to someone that could help them solve the problem if the information on WallyBot isn't everything that they need. They would be able to get in contact with someone that would help them with the problem and find a solution. So from the supplier side of things, it's another great way for us to be able to link us to the MTI members and to allow us to service them and give them what they're looking for.
Yeah, and what I kind of caught through the lens of is as I think through a heat treater looking to either buy something or get a problem solved, and instead of having to, like Heather said, type in Google or go out to 10 different websites, imagine going to WallyBot and typing in and 10 manufacturers of whatever product. They've got their technical information there that the answer draws from all that expertise and gives credence to gives links to the resources where they got that information. Being able to get 1 page or 2 pages of information from 10 different sources in one shot like that saves so much time. That goes back to that whole being more efficient with less manual connections and less time looking for it. So I think that's a real key to serving the customer, and any supplier that has their information there. MTI is going to promote heavily those companies that have their expertise put into WallyBot.
Yeah, and like Heather said, if you go onto Google and you look for, like, let's say radiant tube, for example, you're going to get more information on things that don't pertain to you and your business than things that do pertain to you and your business. And this vehicle is going to allow people to, when they search things, it's going to be things that only pertain to them and their industry. So it's going to be a lot faster and just a better resource than going to Google.
Yeah, you could have a 4-page document or 1.5 billion web pages. You make the choice,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yep.
So let's talk about. I know a lot of people on the supplier side say, "Well, what kind of content can we put in?" So this is one of those things where you don't know what you don't know till you start the process. So we're trying to start simple and then pull things in as we need to. But the biggest thing we don't want suppliers to do is be selling heavily their products in this process. This is supposed to be 4 big things: no selling of product or service. The committee has talked about, and Heather, you and Tony might can address this too. The committee has talked about, well, what if someone wants to say, what's the difference between buying an induction furnace versus a vacuum furnace? So Heather, maybe you can speak to that as the kind of the latitude we talked about within the committee.
It was really important to us that this wasn't a mechanism for a warm lead gen or to be feeding leads into anything specific or Salesforce backend, because typically that's not how MTI members like to interact with suppliers. And a lot of you on this call probably know that you've built relationships over time. That in-person, face-to-face connection is really important to the members. So we felt very strongly that if the suppliers were going to be involved, it's really their opportunity to build connection by providing value to our network. And the no selling isn't because we don't want you to sell ultimately as a transaction. It's because we want it to be a collective effort to up the knowledge in the industry. The more we educate the heat treater, and I know having been one, I am not educated on all the things I need to buy, and that makes the process really, really difficult. But if I am on there looking at questions in a safe place, I am more likely to pursue the credit for those links, and you've created a connection with me that's so much stronger, and it never had any piece of commercial selling content. There's no line card, there's no brochure, there's no nothing. It's just me interacting with you to get information that makes my life easier and better.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. So that's number one: no selling of product or service to a degree, because obviously we want people to be able to share the differences between this and that and be able to look at those things. The next thing is solving problems. So WallyBot is on an MTI Connect mobile app. So a person standing at a furnace trying to figure out how to solve a leak or something will be able to click WallyBot in our virtual app and type in their question, and boom, get an answer right there. And we want this to be a kind of like a virtual 911 for people trying to solve problems, and the obviously the content's coming from the suppliers that can solve that for them. Educational in nature, obviously. I know a lot of you A lot of suppliers do white papers each year on different topics, so we'd love to be able to tap into those white papers and have that WallyBot learning from that vast array of knowledge. And then the last thing is just no disparaging comments about another company or brand. I mean, there's two types of selling. You can sell your brand or you can sell against someone else's, and we just don't want that happening. We want this to be an encouraging, this is the knowledge that we have and the credibility and characters there for that. So no selling of product or service, solving problems, educational in nature, and then no disparaging comments about another company or brand. As time goes on and we learn what we learn, as we start getting in the forms of what to put on, this may tighten up a little bit maybe, but these are the 4 criteria that we're going to start with the task force. So here is the types of content that you can submit. Obviously, technical content, how to solve things about types of furnaces. Maintenance solutions. I mean, it's all about keeping uptime and preventative maintenance these days. Maintenance solutions, best practices, service support. I bet you have 20 or 30 frequently asked questions that are asked all the time. Well, you could have a frequently asked questions page that is submitted to WallyBot as a part of your content, and you're helping them solve problems just like that. Audit compliance. A lot of you do things for NADCAP, AMEC, CQI-9, the welding industry, a lot of different industries you're involved with that heat treaters are in. You have a lot of audit compliance things, and then obviously operational efficiencies, automation elements, ways to run your line so you save costs and put more throughput out. So these are the types of content that when you get to the form, which I'm going to show you here in a few minutes, that you'll be able to click off and tell us what type of content it is. So the big deal, the process for review and approval. And by the way, we're going to have a quick Q&A at the end of this. So if you got questions brewing, just know we're going to ask. We want to hear from you. Process for review and approval. So you're going to submit this on an online form that I'll show you when this is done. We're going to accept content in 2 types of scenarios: PDF files and or website links. I know a lot of you have stuff on your website. You'll submit those website links. It's going to be reviewed by the MTI AI task force to ensure content meets the requirements. And we got 2 documents on the form that is our terms of requirements and our terms and conditions. And so the task force will take basically about a week to review that content and tell us if there's any reason why it should not be. And it's not that we're going to turn it down. Someone may have it say this is a little too salesy, or hey, I question this type of content, and we're going to work with the supplier to get the content on the website if the value's there for sure. And then once approved, it'll be sent over to our platform provider and uploaded into WallyBot, and then people that start typing in questions the same day will be able to see that content come through as answers about the technical area that's in there. So let me take you real quick to bring up. So here's the form that you'll get from us. It talks about the requirements. It reinforces those. It's got the content submission guidelines to click here that you can read. Terms and conditions. They're just 2 short documents that outline just kind of where everything lies. And then you're going to come in here and give us the information we need to provide this content. Just your company information, and then you select what type of company, what kind of company you are, because we're going to actually have a contest. A big problem right now in any industry is the transfer of knowledge from the retirees that are retiring from the younger generation coming in, and they don't have as much knowledge. So we're going to challenge heat treaters to go to their most seasoned heat treaters and write up white papers for us on different things on maintenance and line maintenance and stuff like that, and submit those to us. But you'll just click supplier, and then you just put your link in here and tell us what kind of content it is. Put your link in, and then when you get down, you're able to submit 5 links and 5 PDF files in this one document. So you come down here, you can see, you can attach a file and tell us what time. So it's real simple to submit information to us. Input the link and click what kind of it is, or put in the PDF file and click on. So that is how you would work with the submission form. So now let's go back. Any questions from anybody on the platform, guidelines, how do you submit? What's going through your mind as you think about submitting your content? Hey, Bob, you there? Is that Bob Finken from Super Systems?
Yes, I'm here.
So Bob, what you have any questions in particular? I know you came on a little bit late, and
No, I think you've got done a great job explaining this. Um, I'm very interested in actually submitting some of our content. I think I think it'll be very beneficial for us and essentially all the MTI members. Yeah.
yeah, our vision is. I mean, I think 5 years from now, if we get half the 70% of our suppliers that have submitted content into this, I really believe WallyBot will be probably one of the most visited. It'll be a central hub for lots because, I know book knowledge is important, but book knowledge is normally not what comes out on a heat treat line. It's the stuff that the suppliers have and the things that y'all provide for your equipment and accessories and stuff. So I think it's going to be a very beneficial thing to the industry. Andrea and Shannon, anything you're thinking? Any questions?
I'll add, I think it's really exciting. Greg Steiger being our go-to person at Idemitsu for all things quench oil. He's due to retire soon. This is a great way to dump all of his knowledge in a specific place and have people be able to search, all things quench oil for us. Really looking forward to sharing this with him. I know he's one of the older gentlemen in quench oil, and I mean that nicely. So for me to be able to walk him through this and say, hey, we can have his articles go in here or certain questions, I think it's really exciting.
So what I heard you just say is that he's going to be writing a white paper a month until his brain is empty, right?
I'll try.
That's awesome. Yeah, Greg's great. Now, Mike, anything from any? How you doing, Michael? Michael's from Du Bois Chemicals.
Hey, Tom. How are you doing? I'm doing fine.
Great. Anything going through your mind that you're thinking of as you think about the opportunity for this?
Well, unfortunately, I jumped on really late and only heard the a little bit of what's trying to be done here. So I'm gonna have to back up and see the whole presentation and start from there.
Well, we've recorded it, so we're going to be sending it out to every supplier, posted in the forum later today, so you get that opportunity. So I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Andrew, what about you?
Similar to Shannon, I work closely with Mike Grande, and he's written a lot of articles, and he's a great source of knowledge for industrial ovens, heat treating ovens. So I think this is going to be a good platform for a lot of that knowledge to upload it.
Awesome. So Ben, what are you thinking? You've actually been a part of some of these discussions at the board level and stuff.
Yeah. I guess a couple of things. What did you say the FNA show presentations, all of them through this year or this past year have been uploaded?
We haven't uploaded the ones this year yet. We've just had the ones through the 18 and 20 or 18 and or 2020 and 2022.
Okay. So, and then you had PDF and website or web links as your main submittal. If we've done like webinars that have been taped, are those submittable?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you've got webinars we'll want to have those because those are usually larger files. So we'll have a link that you can submit those to us, and they easily just take those and they transcribe them and then upload them into the system. But we've done that with about 70 FNA videos, so we'd easily be able to do any webinars that y'all have put on.
Okay. And then if there's even like PowerPoint type presentations, just putting those into a PDF and submitting them is adequate as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I'm on board. It's been interesting because I know even people are starting to go to Chat GPT in places to give me the top 5 X suppliers of X product. And it's kind of this gray area of SEO and different things of how you get onto that list. So this being a little more isolated and specific, I think will certainly help the membership as well as suppliers hone in a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that's what the power behind to alleviate some of the concern about just our information being out there. This is a closed loop system where nothing goes out and nothing comes in. It learns from what exactly we have dumped into it and uploaded, and can't be manipulated in any way. It's actually going to learn from everything that we have put in there.
Yeah.
One of the big benefits also to suppliers is once your content is out on the regular internet, it cannot be retracted. It's there forever. It's archived, and it's going to be pulled by these language learning models and give incorrect information. So what the great thing is about WallyBot is that we can go in and take content out if we don't want it to learn from it anymore. And you said, hey, this PowerPoint is no longer relevant. Here's what the new science is, or our new product is, or our new information is. We can replace it and update it so that we're not giving out outdated information like they would get if they just did a regular ChatGPT or Google search.
So real quick, I thought I would do something really cool. I'll take you out here just to show y'all. So WallyBot resides on the front page of the website. This is going to change once we get a lot of suppliers information up there. We want to give everybody an opportunity to see it.
You're working on that, Tom. If we submit a PDF, you mentioned that you would have a reference of where that came from. Is that ultimately tied to, say, Gasberry's website, or how is that reference link shown?
It can be. It can be either way. So the reference can be contained within the document, or it can be housed on a page somewhere. So for example, if you have a link on your website and it pops up a white paper or a PDF, we can use either the link, or you can reference the source link in the document itself. Both ways, it'll read the OCR.
Okay.
So I just typed in what causes distortion in heat treating, and so it gave back this answer here, a pretty comprehensive answer. So I mean, it's really easy, and here's the key behind it, which we're teaching people. If it's a good answer, you click thumbs up. If it's an answer that wasn't satisfactory, you click thumbs down, and you tell it what the answer could be or where to find that answer. So that's what helps us learn and make sure, because in the world of AI, the audience is who can help drive good information as well through the feedback. So we get a way to, in real time, to find out if this is it good or bad information. How can we change it? Well, awesome. So any other thoughts going on in anybody's mind that is within the webinar? Awesome. Well, Heather, any final, as chair of this task force, any final words?
Thank you for coming on and learning about this. I know that AI is a scary, vague terminology that many of us haven't played with a lot and might be really unfamiliar with. So thanks for sticking with the idea. And we hope that we've created an opportunity for you to dip the toe into AI in a safe, closed environment that will really help magnify what your efforts are as suppliers so far. It's so important to us that we value the supplier network that is created through the MTI. You are so critical to our operations, and the relationships that we have with our suppliers every day is only going to be magnified by having such a great cache of knowledge to draw from in the future in one single spot. So I'm really excited. If you would like to discuss offline about your personal situation, please feel free to reach out to Tony and I on the task group, Tom himself. We're happy to answer individual questions, or if you would like time with the entire task group, if you have feedback, or if you want to run content scenarios, we're happy to do that as well.
Thanks, Heather. Yeah, and so what'll happen is I'm going to take this video and it's going to be sent out later today or tomorrow to the entire set of suppliers so they can begin to watch it and discuss it with their teams. And then we will send out an actual link to the forum as well, so people can already start getting busy and submitting content for us to look at. So any questions y'all have, My email is tom@heattreat.net. You can go to the website and click on contact us, and my email's right there. But it's real easy. It's tom@heattreat.net. And we want to get you engaged in this because we really think this is the future of content creation in the world of heat treats. And I look forward to hearing from y'all, and thank y'all very much for tuning in today. Have a great week.